I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. Yeah, I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. Thank you.
We are blessed to be on this Lenten journey. And it's no accident that we're introducing forgiveness as part of that journey. If you remember, I invited us at the beginning of Lent to not be so concerned with what we're giving up as what we're taking up. And what we're taking up is lifting up and knowing the highest truth, to see the bright highest truth. And then inviting you into developing a very strong, intimate relationship with God as a buddy, as a friend, as someone you know is always there, present. And this is important for forgiveness because the title today, Forgiving from Within. Now this is purely in line with this beautiful pamphlet that Uni put out this year called Release and Renew 2022. If you haven't gotten it yet, it's on the welcome table out there. It is so full of great wisdom. And the entry for today, as Linda had talked about in the opening prayer, was created by Reverend Beatrice Gallerano Bell. And this is so wonderful because it's a whole new way of looking at forgiveness. She says, Jesus has left us a profound and wise teaching, when by his example, he shows that only God, the indwelling divinity in each of us, can truly forgive. And this is because the indwelling Spirit only perceives the divine in each being, only sees the truth, the light, and the love which are our true nature. We are divine in essence. We are pure spirit in all its potential. Therefore, in the face of life situations that cause us suffering, grief, or guilt, let us allow Spirit to do its healing work through us. And that's forgiving from within. Now, forgiveness is really very easy to do, but it's not so easy to remember to do it, if you know what I mean. There's our life experience. We know that when we have a resentment that we don't let go of, that we have unforgiveness that we're just not ready to let go of because I want them to know I want them to know, we can drag that around for days, for weeks, for months, for years, for a lifetime. And guess what? That resentment, that suffering, that pain only hurts us. Does nothing to the person you're holding that against. Now, is that sane? Whenever I do it, it's not sane. And I do it all the time. I've got judgment, I've got resentments, I've got life, but the gratitude I have is it's becoming increasingly aware for me to let it go. Forgiving from within. Elizabeth Sand Turner is a wonderful unity writer. And she says, it is only by turning to God that we receive forgiveness. Now, why is that? It's because when we're holding on to that resentment, we hold it on in our body. It's someplace in us. And when we're ready to let it go and give it to God, we're liberated. It's that easy. We are liberated. And how many times do we forgive? How often do we need to forgive? Master Teacher Jesus said 70 times 7, and that's just to take the edge off. That's just one day. How about 70 times 7 the next day? And the next day. We need to forgive all the time. But we can, because God's ready to accept whatever we're willing to give to God. It's a beautiful blessing. And that's forgiving from within. I love this. Imelda Shacklin. Oh, I love the women of unity. These writers, they touch my heart and they inspire me so deeply. She says, forgiveness is a unification of the soul with God, comparable to raindrops' reception by the sea. How difficult is it for the ocean to accept the raindrops? Easy peasy. Just give it to me. And that's what God is for us. Accepts our unforgiveness, our resentment, our guilt, our shame so easily. Like rain on the water. We have life experience. And life's experience gives us so much. We have all survived to this moment. We don't know what's going to happen now from now, but we've all survived to this moment. And our life journey has brought us the wisdom that after trying and trying and trying of controlling it and fixing the other person, you know how well that works? Fixing the other person? I've got a master at it and I still haven't achieved it. And that's usually the people we're related to or married to, have a bloodline to, or we have adjoining property, or they're our boss, giving us many opportunities to let go. Imelda continues to say, because it makes us right with God, forgiveness heals all ills, makes the weak strong, the cowardly courageous, the ignorant wise, and the mournful happy. So you think forgiveness is kind of important? I think so. If it's going to give us an experience of life more deeply and fulfilled, then our practice should be give all of our unforgiveness to God. So we can do that by praying for others. In the 12-step programs, we're taught to pray for others. Well, what is that? That's lifting someone else up and putting them in the care of God. Here's my partner, God. Here's my daughter, God. Here's my mom, God. Here's that person, God. Oh, here's that person, God. Here I am, God. I give you me right now. And as soon as we give that person to God, God embraces with loving light and carries the resentment away from us. It's lifted. And it's so important that we awaken to how valuable forgiveness is in our lives. Because we've been around the block a few times. We know what it's like to carry the resentment, the judgment, and the hurt and the pain. Don't we? We become very, very good at it. Because also, it's an important thing to not just grin and bear it. Forgiveness is so much in Scripture. It's so much part of all spiritual traditions. Here, Luke chapter 6, verse 37, judge not, and you will not be judged. Condemn not, and you will not be condemned. Forgive, and you will be forgiven. It's as simple as that. And it's an act of giving. We give, and God receives. And what do we get back? We get a little space. We get a little peace. We're lighter. We don't have to carry around more. So this does awaken us to a greater way of living where we don't judge so much. We don't compare so much. We accept. We honor that each person we meet is on this journey, one with God, the same way we are. No one's left out. Give them to God. Give ourselves to God. Because that activity, turning within and allowing God to create space within us, gives us an opportunity to replace it with something else, which is the wisdom of Myrtle Fillmore, co-founder of Unity. She says, forgiveness is not silent consent, the negative appearance of making the best of a situation while underneath there's a resentment. Ever done that? Forgiveness is the act of putting something else in place of the thing forgiven. So forgiveness is not just, well, if they don't see that I'm carrying it around because I've got a really beautiful smile, I'll get them someday. That's not forgiveness. That's not letting go. And we do it. It's part of the human journey. We play these terrible games. And as a result of those games, we are the only species that has big, expensive weapons to hurt other beautiful children of God. Insanity. And probably, if we truly learn to forgive all, there would be no more war. There would be no reason to kill someone else. It's time to stop projecting our hurt and pain on someone else. It's time to embrace all that we are right now. And if there's any pain or discomfort, to turn within. Give it to God. And God accepted all, just like rain being accepted by the ocean. So easy. Because God only relates to us as love. Only relates to us as divine. Only relates to us as perfect grace. Our humanness is nothing to God. And when we let go, there's a little more space for our oneness with God to exist within us. Because there's one less thing we're carrying around. And that's forgiving from within. This Lenten journey is a powerful spiritual journey if we step into it and practice these principles. Life is good. God is great all the time. And we're blessed to have the opportunity to forgive. How many times? A whole lot. All the time. And that's forgiving from within.
Step out on the water, release your faith. Every step is stronger. Step out on the water.